Okay, we are going to start this project, and this is the first learning curve of the semester. I want you to just look at the pretty picture and listen to me for just a second. The foundation for writing anything is research. I was not born knowing anything. I was not born knowing the population of any country. I wasn't born knowing anything. So in order to write an effective essay about anything outside of my own experience, I have to conduct research. I need to find resources that help give me information. Those resources need to be vetted resources. By that I mean legitimate, good resources. When I find those resources, I need to document them in what we call a works cited page. Other campuses, other universities use different methods of documenting these sources. Because we are a college and we are a more liberal arts minded, we are going to use MLA format, which stands for Modern Language Association. I'm going to show you exactly what that document should look like. This is what a works cited page in MLA looks like. The title, the person who wrote the article, that name is here, followed by the title, and so forth. The second line is indented, and all of the citations are double-spaced. The title is here in Times New Roman, double-spaced, and then the citations begin, and they go on like this. Now, you ask, what about a website that is not written by an author, but contains a number of different contributions? So that would be something that shows like this. Let's go together to Easybib and learn how to create a document that looks just like this with the citations that you will find. Easybib is a free app. ChatGPT can create a citation, but it does not yet know how to format the citation correctly. So we are going to use Easybib because Easybib stays up to date with all of the current requirements for formatting those resources. After you create your free Easybib account, you will be taken to your citation lists where you will create new projects. Each time you write an essay here that requires a works cited page, you will come here to Easybib and you will create a new citation list. That way you know that whatever you research will go into the correct folder. Let's create a new citation list. I know, I would have put this in red too, but they didn't. So we're going to create a new citation list and we're going to give the list a name and it'll show up in those lists. As you go through your educational career, you will create projects each time you are working on an essay. So here's our project for fun with Easybib. And you can see it's going to show the current MLA listing here. As a side note, when you get to the university level, some universities require APA and some require other different types of formats. For our purposes, for this course, we're going to use Modern Language Association, MLA, the current version. We've done that now, and now we're going to research things that we are interested in. I don't care what you're interested in. If you're interested in it, so am I. You're going to go to Google. We're going to do that together in a second, and you're going to research 5 things that interest you. And you're going to create those citations. Let's look at this together and see how we can do that using Easybib. I've decided that I'm interested, for half a second, in castles in Germany. I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to research that. and I'm going to look at articles that I think are interesting about German castles. Remember, I want to stay away from Wikipedia because it's not a legitimate source. I don't know what Questo is, but it doesn't sound like it's a particularly legitimate source. So let's go down and find an article written by a person that is legitimate. To refine my research and find an article written by an actual person rather than a website, I just typed in written by. So let's look at this one. You all, this is where I have to set my timer because I will get off into here and time will pass. But look, here's an article. It's written by a person. It was written in 2022. Not the most relevant, but okay, it's going to give me information. Look, all I have to do for this exercise is create the citation. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to go over to my Easybib project that we just created. Remember, over here in Easybib, this new project, we're going to create the citation. And over here is going to come this box. And I'm going to paste the URL in there. And look at all the ways that I can create a different citation. Isn't Easybib fun? It creates different things for different ways, including interviews, which we'll be doing later on in the semester. It creates different kinds of formats so that we always know it's correct. Let's give Easybib a chance to see if it can find that. And it did. So now let's look at what Easybib found. Okay, we're going to edit this just to see what it created. Okay, now the important thing is that I see the article and I see who wrote the article. It does show an author. Now this is going to show up incorrectly. I need to make sure that I capitalize the title. I know that the reader can see this URL, so I want to make sure that the title is formatted correctly. So I'm going to do that and show it to you. Okay, so you see this, and sometimes the title will come up when I research something and it'll have a million words. And I can cut those words down to create an appropriate title for the citation, knowing that the reader can access this URL and see all the long words that are written. So I'm going to say yes, display that URL, let the reader see that. Now later on in different projects, let's say that I have a million citations. I'm writing a big old long paper and I need to remember what that citation was. I've done that before. I don't even remember what that article, oh my gosh, I have so many citations. So that's where I can create a little annotation, which brings up a little box for me to just jot down a note. And if I'm doing an annotation, to remind myself, I go back to that website, I just copy down the information that was there and I paste it in, and then I just, after I've done that, I just update the citation. The trick is, I remember when I'm completely finished with the project that I need to take that annotation out by simply clicking that little box and deleting it. So here we go, and that's our citation. And remember, it's going to bring that annotation back over here to the margin. That's why it's easy for me to find that later on. That's just a little note. So now we've got the citation. It looks good. And now we're going to go find another one. This time, I decided to just look up something that has statistics because I don't know statistics. I have to research them. I can't write something like a bunch of people are really excellent learners. I don't know how many a bunch is. Or these days, one of the favorite ways of people have of expressing that is to say, tons of people are going. How many is a ton of people? So I need to find out specific information. So I'm just going to, let's see how brilliant Gen Z students are. So now, this is a research center. And I think research centers create interesting statistics, though I want to make sure I find out where they found their statistics. Who did they research to get their information. But let's just do that. For now, all we need to do is just find this, and we want to see, do we have an author, or is it we do have an author? And it was a while back, but I can still use it for this assignment. All I need to do is just create 5 of these that I'm interested in. So what do? That's right, we copy the URL. Now we go back over to our citation page, and we do what? That's right, we create a new citation. And we go over here, and this is a website, and we're going to paste, we're going to search, and it found it. Now, let's make sure that citation is correct. It's going to highlight it in green, so let's edit it and make sure. You see this? So we want to shorten this title because it doesn't need to be this long. Well, I guess we can leave it. It looks like it's fixed it for it. All right, we'll just keep it. Sometimes they just go on forever, but I see that it created the capitalized words. And it shows our author. And yes, we want to show that URL. If I needed to make an annotation, we remember how I would do that. I would go down here and click annotation. But I don't need to do that for this project. For this one, we're just making our list. So it looks like we've done as much as we can do. So we're going to update the citation. And now we have our 2 of our citations, and we see that they're all correct. Now let's just pretend that we've done all 5, and it's time to create our works cited page. So we're going to export all, and now we have a choice. We can do this as a Word document or as a Google Doc. Remember, Microsoft Word comes with your Outlook email, and I find Microsoft Word to be a preference. However, you can use Google Docs, but let's just go ahead and use Word. And it's going to export this list that we've created to a perfectly formatted Word document. So let's let it do that. And you can see where it's done that. So we're going to click on this to open it. We're going to enable editing, just in case we need to make any changes. And you can see it's all beautifully, isn't that a thing of beauty? Okay, now let's say that we popped it in here and it messed it up. Let's say that it came over here and it made it look like that. That's wrong. Let's say somehow it made it look like this. That's wrong. You see where I'm going up here in this Word document? That's completely wrong. Right? So we have to go back over here to normal, and sometimes even after it's messed up and we go back to normal, it's still messed up, in which case we just simply revert back to our original document. The way I did that was by going up here and clicking this little backward thing. Now it's all correct, and all I have to do is go up here and lower this down on the page and then add my name, course, date, information. And because I want to give myself credit for words written, I want to make sure that I add the word count, which I can get easily by reviewing and going over here to word count. And there it is. You'll have more than this because you will have completed all those. Now, one thing I want to mention to you is watching out for all of these capitalized words. In this case, Boomer is going to remain capitalized because that is how the magazine title has been created. But we want to check this. Of course, in URLs, they're going to have all kinds of capitalized things. We've got to leave that alone. But you'll notice something really important that I want to point out to you. Number 1, none of these are numbered. And remember that none of these URLs are hyperlinks. If somehow, when you create this document, you see hyperlinks, simply go in and remove the hyperlink. You don't ever want to have a live hyperlink in a works cited. So now it's all beautiful. I would add the other 3 that I created for this assignment, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to save this as a PDF. I'm going to give it a better title so I can easily find it. And I'm going to create this as a PDF. And then I'm going to submit that to the assignment. Let me show you how to do that. Before I do that, of course, I want to make sure that if I created an annotation, I've removed that. So I have to remember to check that out. All right, now let's see how we submit this PDF to our assignment. You see right here where it says Start Assignment? We're going to click that, and we're going to create a file upload. Remember, we're on the computer, not on a phone. You cannot do this assignment on a phone. So we're going to stay right here. All this other stuff is just confusing. Stay right here, and we're going to choose that file that we saved to the desktop. And of course, that is the PDF that we saved. And we're going to submit the assignment. Now, let's say that time passes and it's just about time for the assignments to be graded, and I think, oh my goodness, I forgot the word count. I can go back in, correct that assignment, resave it to my desktop, resave it as a PDF, come back in here, and again, click the Start Assignment, and resubmit it. Simply by going to staying in here, and I create the new upload. And that is fine to do until the assignment has been graded. So that is what we need to do for our documentation. I know this can be a lot. It is the first learning curve of the semester. And believe me, once this foundational principle of understanding that your job is to research information, document that information in your essay, which I'll show you later on. This is a reminder. And this first time is going to take a little bit longer. It gets much faster the more I use this app. Finally, remember, Easybib is an app dedicated to citations. It's not trying to do a million other things. So Easybib is always going to keep up with the most current citations for the level. I know, you think, what difference does it make? Well, it does. Because when I'm looking for facts and I'm using those facts in my essay, I want to make sure that the reader knows exactly where that information was found and that it is properly documented. I know it's a revolutionary thought, and I realize that. So take your time, enjoy this assignment, and when you get that finished, turn in that PDF just as I showed you. You're brilliant beyond measure, and this is one way to get started on that journey.